Who's on the daggone TV? Chris Fisher, #1, winner, chicken dinner. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all seen yesterday, I'm here watching on the TV. My phone is busy right now. Okay. Y'all seen yesterday, I had it all cleaned up last night at 9 o'clock. Now it looks like a daggone world, like Tasman devil come through here. There is a storm a-coming. There is a storm a-coming. See it? She's a-coming. So, I got to get my mess up. And I got to, man, it's hot. Got to get my mess up. I'm going to crank the truck. Then I'm going to pick the airbags up. I'm going to stick the jack stands underneath it. I'm going to jack it up, put it on jack stands, let the air out of the airbags, and then I'm going to put the bumper and the grill back on it. I'm in good spots. So, and then I was going to tell everybody let me turn this thing off. I'm gonna tell everybody what's going on here. And this is where I've got so far. Now, I know that don't look like a lot. I know it don't look like a lot, and somebody's gonna say, man, I could have done that in lickety-split. Well, anytime you want to come down here and clock in, let me know. Because I've been playing around some ideas. I still ain't got this son of a gun right here open. And the reason why is it's electric. And I had it out here because I was just aggravated. So I got the wiring diagram for, boy, you can feel that cold air. Yeah, the storm's coming, so I better hurry up. So I have to get this electric motor activated so I can open these seats. These are power seats. I know Metal Art Custom said his opens up, just jerk the strap. Some other people said jerk the strap. Well, here's the problem. The ones that you open with the strap, there is a red strap right there that you unlock that, and then that rotates. Oh, yeah, it's thundering. Storm be here in about 10 minutes. Y'all clock it. It's 5:30. By 5:45, it'll be raining. So I got to get to busy. So I have to open this. Well, I got to give power. So I got the wiring diagram. I think I got the wiring diagram. So whatever I do to this side, I got to do that side. You got to do them in tandem. Lord have mercy. Why not just take all the electric shit off of it and just gut it? I don't know. That still might be an option. But now let's get up here to these other seats and let me show you this. All right. So these seats is the second row seat, which actually flips up. So if you was getting into the Ford Explorer and you pulled this handle right here, it would unlock and roll forward so you could get back to the third row seat. Now, I mounted it two different ways. All right, so made these brackets right here and run it long ways. Now it's just mock-up. This is not for real. Somebody's gonna say, oh, that's not gonna work, and blah, 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 whatever. Then I turned the brackets around and put them that way. Now, here's the thing. When you go to pull this right here, this seat raised forward. That's why the brackets are that way. If you do it like that, it thinks it's in the open position, but I lied to it, so it's laid back. That's as far as the seat will go laid back. Now, I sat in this truck, I sat on this, and my feet on this one set flat on the floor. Now, I'm going to trim these and put base plates and put 4 bolt holes and sandwich a top plate and a bottom plate. And then I'm going to clean all this up, and we're going to box this and piano hinge it and all that. This is just a skeleton, right? Now, the way this thing, I was thinking in theory that I'd want this seat to roll forward, and then this right here would be a cubby hole where you could store stuff. Well. And I still might do that, and then this seat would roll forward. But then you got to think about it. That seat is going to be right there. So if this seat rolls forward, then that seat's going to be there. So here's the thing. See this lock mechanism? Now, I did make some of these, which would actually weld to that and grab that, right? Now, here's my thing. When this thing was in the Explorer, it had to be functional where it had to move so you could get into the back seat, right? Or get to in the third row seat. In this, it doesn't need to. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to lock them in place and there's not going to be no flippy flips. But what I will do is I will build, you know, this will be gusset here, all this. See, it's just tags, right? But make this where this is a cubby hole door where this falls down and you can put stuff in there and then fold it back up when it gets interior, right? So with that being said, let me show you what it looked like. Let me show you what it let me live with you for a second. Let me live with you. So this is what we're looking like. So it's still a little high because my feet not touching the floor. So what I'm thinking about doing, if I measure from the bottom of my feet to the floor, it's about 1 inch. All right. So what I'm thinking about doing is cutting 1 inch off of the legs. No, let me take that back. I'm thinking about cutting 1 3/16 inches off the legs. My base plate is going to be 3/16. So that's going to put me back up to 1 inch, right? So if I need to go down 1 3/16 inches, I need to go down 1 inch, but then I have to take in consideration my plate is 3/16. So I need to drop it down at least 1 3/16 or 1.25 inches because my plate is 3/16. So if I cut the leg 1.25 inches shorter, that will bring it down. That will bring it down 1.25 inches. I put a piece of 3/16 plate, base plate under the leg. That's going to pick it up 3/16, and I will be right at 1.16 inches lower to the floor. So that's what I'm thinking. And then if I stick my legs out, you know, I'll hit the other seat. But whew, it was a long day. Trial and error, doing this, doing that. So after working on this for a little bit, I took a break and fixed the little truck. And I'm going to get it out and everything and go from there. So tomorrow, the plan is tomorrow, by the close of business today, by the close of business tomorrow, have this seat completely bolted down because this seat don't need to slide forward and back. Wherever it's at is where it's going at. It's got like a 38-degree rake, 38 degrees laying back. So if I'm sitting in this seat, I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. I still got room here. And plus, I can still move this seat to the front just a little bit. And the reason why I say that, put them dogs away. The reason why I say that is because this seat up here, I'm always barefooted. If you're new to the channel, everybody that's always been here, they'll tell you I'm always barefooted, always. So this seat right here goes right here. So I got plenty of room. So, but I don't have too much room because you see this bulkhead, right? So if I come forward any further, then the seat has to slide out. And if it slides out, it's going to lose leg space. So I can't go no further this way, right? What if people are shorter than you, then their feet will drag in midair? You want to cut 1 3/16. All right, that's a good observation. So let me ask you a question. In the back seat of that Yukon or the back seat of that Escalade you got in your driveway, do you adjust the back seat for your little kids to get in there? Do I adjust the seats? Do I adjust the seats in my square body or my Silverado? So what I actually did is I actually set in my truck, right? So what I did, so I'll go over here and I'll show you. Truck's a little dirty, it's not too bad. So if I sit in here like this, right? If I sit in my seat like this, look how high my feet are. Look, see that? So what I did, it's a good question though, SS. So what I did was I measured from the top of this seat to the floor in my truck. All right. So what I did is I measured from the top of the seat to the floor in my truck. Now, if I would have got F-150 seats, I could have done them like that, but I couldn't find any colors. I couldn't find any colors that he liked. So I'm actually higher, not my damn face, you stupid idiot. I'm actually higher in here than I'm in my truck. Right? So from here to the floor is actually higher than the top of my seat to the floor. So if I actually I could actually cut these legs 3 inches shorter to bring this down even further to the floor. So, and then again, before it's 100%, before I put the base plates on, I'm going to get the owner to come over here and I'm going to get him to tell me yay or nay. Now, the owner's about my height and they don't have no kids, so it doesn't really matter. So, and matter of fact, they have a 2024 Ford Explorer. I can actually get in the back of their Ford Explorer and see what the height of the seat is and then just duplicate it. Because typically, the way these seats work in SUVs, the second row seat is higher than the driver's seat, so the passengers can see over the drivers. So if you got a Tahoe or a Yukon or Escalade or anything like that, the second row seat is actually higher up than the driver's seat, so you can actually see over the driver. Also, no kids, no problem. Well, it really wouldn't matter, SS, because if you think about it, I mean, if you think about it, look how far. Well, hell, we'll just get a damn tape measure and I'll show you. I got about 5 minutes and the rain is coming. Here's a tape measure. All right, so let's do it right here. Let's do it. Let's put a tape on it. Math ain't wrong. Math ain't wrong. All right, so from the floorboard to the edge of that seat is 19.5 inches. So what you're saying, SS, you have to adjust it for other people. All right, let's see what this one is. From the floor over, we're 15.5. So that seat right there, from the edge of my seat to the floor where my feet would be sitting, is 15.5. So what did I say? 3 inches? 3.5 inches? 3 inches? So if I was to cut this leg 3 inches shorter, see that's 19.5, I would have to cut this leg like 15, 16, 17, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have to cut 4 inches off of that leg, and that leg is 9.5 inches. So I'd have to cut that leg 4 inches shorter to bring this down, but see, I can't, well, I can do that because that's not in the way. So if I cut this leg 4 inches shorter, it's going to bring the edge of this seat down to 15.5, exactly what my truck is, the back seat of my truck. So it's actually 3-inch drop might be perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I made the legs long, because it's easier to take away than it is to add. I made them 9 inches long. Well, actually, it's 9 plus 1, that's 10. So from here to there is 10 inches. 10 inches. If you measure on the top, not the bottom, fellas, on the top, 10 inches. So, like I said, once I get the seats mounted to the tubing the way I like this, and got them locked down, I'll get the owner, the client, to come over, and I'll get him to sit in them, and I say, hey, look, you want to shorten the legs 3-4 inches to bring it down. That will bring the ride height down, and see what he says. And he'll probably say, do whatever you want to do, Captain. Do whatever you want to do, Captain. So, but yeah, it's always good to, and then what I'm going to do on the driver's seat is I'm going to put the stock seat back into place and find out where the center line of the seat is. the center line of the seat pad, and then I'm going to shoot a string line down, a laser line, and mark it. And then I'm going to build a frame here to hold this seat, and this seat will be, because this seat is actually high. The stock seat, it's actually high so you can see over the box. So this seat will actually be high, but it'll be where, and I'm going to adjust it where it's all the way forward. And he's got enough, all the way forward, it'll be where it needs to be. And then you slide it all the way back in the leg room. And then, and then this seat is going to be right there. So I'm going to mount this seat, and this seat, and then I'm going to figure out about that other seat. So that's that. So let's get back on the square body. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I want to let everybody know I appreciate you. I just hit 4,100 subscribers. Thank you very much. All right, so now let's get to this right here. So Southern Square Body told me last night that you could not block off the oil passage for the oil cooler because it would not have oil pressure. And this is the and I didn't know this because I thought maybe you could just block it off. Well, you can't block it off, and this is the reason why you can't block it off. Because I looked up the schematics. I looked up the schematics on the oil system. I'll just write it on this right here. I looked up the oil system, and this is how it works. So you got your block and your 2 ports for your oil lines, right? And then you got your oil filter, right? This is your filter, right? And this is your engine, right? All right? So, and then this comes over here, and then you got your cooler, right? This is your oil cooler, right? So this is how this works on, a 4.3 V6. I do not know anything else. I just tell you this. So the way this works is, I'm going to show, this is a side view. I'm going to show you a top view, okay? So this is the top view. Here's plug 1, here's plug, right? And then inside here, you got an oil chamber, right? And then this is hooked to the block, right? So this is the block, right? So the way this works on a 4.3, what I found. So when you crank the truck up and it gets oil pressure, the oil pump is in the oil pan, it pumps the oil and it goes through the engine, right? If you did not have an oil cooler, it would go in and it would go in the center of the oil filter, fill up the oil filter, and then it would go back out like this back into the engine. Well, since this thing has an oil cooler, it doesn't work like that. The way it works is the oil comes out of the block, goes through this little maze of shit, goes out of the output, right? Goes through the hose, hits the oil cooler, right? Hits the oil cooler, goes through the oil cooler, comes back to the block, goes through another passage, then it goes into the center of the oil filter, then it comes out of the oil filter, filters the oil filter, and then it goes back out into the engine. That's what I found the diagram online last night. It was an old drawing, and I found it, and that's the way it works. So what happens if you block off the oil filter or the oil cooler, what happens is the oil comes through and it hits this wall and it doesn't make a full cycle, and therefore you lose oil pressure. Why don't you take the tracks off the seats and mount the seats to the frame? Well, that is an option too, Zipperhead. That is an option too. But by doing it, and I'm not saying that I won't do that, but if I do that, then the seat will be flat. The seat will be flat and it won't be at an angle, and then I have to redo my brackets. Again, we'll just have to see what happens. Like I say, that is the development stages of the first one. I got aggravated, so then I come over here and I finished on this. So I got the new radiator in, got fan 1, fan 2. This is the temperature sensor for the fans at 185 degrees. This triggers, it triggers the relay. Now all this is gonna get took out because the whole front of the truck's getting painted, but I'm trying to do all this so I can take it to the Peach Festival. So I'll cover all these wires up and all that crap. So, and wire loom, and then I got to extend this cable. This cable here is the hood cable, and Mike Losh at Slosh Tubs has made a new one so I can hide all this. That goes there because these got the big slosh tubs in it. And normally on the factory, this run on the fender well, but this is not factory no more. So this is fan 1, this is fan 2. This is relay 1, this is relay 2. Everything's on a relay. This yellow wire right here goes to a 12-volt key source, which is in on the fuse box. I tapped in on the radio signal. So when the key comes on, the 12 volts hot on the radio circuit, I put a double fuse in it. I put a 20 amp fuse in it on this, so it's double fused in there. That triggers the relay. The relay tells the relay to come on. Therefore, it draws power from this line, which this line goes directly to the battery, and then the fans come on. Now, with that being said, I went and got some brass barb fittings, 3/8 right here. I went and got some brass pipe to hose adapter. So it's 3/8 MPT, which is national pipe thread, to barb fitting, and I put thread tape on them, and I put them in place of the holes that I had blocked off for the oil cooler ports on the side of the oil canister on the bottom. Remember I showed y'all the other day? I'm not going to crawl underneath there and show you now, but that's what I done with that, right? So that's that. Then I got some rubber line and some new hose clamps, and I run new rubber line all the way up to this bad boy right here. Let me show you. Let me leave with you. See that right there, boys and girls? Right there. So I had this. So this right here is now the oil cooler with a high output fan. All right. So it's grounded right here. And then this is a shrink wrap watertight fitting that's heat shrinked. This runs over, and that wire runs over to the sensor, which is this sensor. I piggybacked off of the sensor down here. So I'm using this sensor to activate three things. This sensor, when it hits 185 degrees, when this hits 185, it triggers the ground. So this is the ground circuit. The ground circuit comes over, activates this relay and this relay, and it activates the relay for the fan on the oil cooler. And then the oil cooler fan comes on at 185, because this will be 185. Fan 1 comes on at 185. And this one right here tells this one to come on at 185. All right. It's a 4.3 V6. It's got like 71,000 miles on it. Runs like a friggin' soul machine. Come on now. Don't do it. I actually fixed this vacuum line here, and I put a new EGR valve on, and I've already rebuilt the injectors on the throttle body. What the damn hell's wrong with you? Shut up. So that's that. So we're going to fire it up. We're going to hit it on the key. Oh, yeah, and I put a new pressure sensor in. Now, I got a check engine light check engine light on. The reason why I got a check engine light on is because I unplugged something when it was running and the light come on, so I have to reset this, and this is the bobby pin, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, needs some new plugs. Needs new plugs. I do know that. See? Hit on the key. So the EGR valve was stopped up. It's probably the original one on it, so I put a new one of that on there. I put a new one of these sensors on. I rebuilt the injectors. I put a new thermostat. I changed the oil, and that's about it. So, it sounds like it. I think it's got a couple. I think it's got a plug dead. I'm not 100% sure. It needs some new plugs. Yep, no pat. Needs some fresh gas in it too. So the oil pressure is that damn fuel pump loud, boy. it says it's got about 50 pounds of oil pressure. And I don't know what's going on with the gas gauge. It's sticking. I don't know. I'll have to check into that. Or the ground might have come loose. I don't know. I'll have to fix it. But nevertheless, that's where we at, boys and girls. Everything's good. Water's running. You can feel the water running. And when he gets to 185, you see how it's kind of stumped? Well, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it. See how it's kind of stumbling a little bit? It's not skipping, but it's stumbling just a little bit, right? So I think it needs new plugs. And it needs to be drove. It ain't been drove in a while. That's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna pick the front end up. Put the bumper on the grill and all that stuff, and then I'm gonna drive it. I'm not gonna drive it in the rain because I ain't got no windshield wipers. I took them off. And put the breather back on it and drive it and see if it clears up a little bit. I got 5 gallons of 93, and then I got 105 little octane booster to put into it to see if it clears it up a little bit. It's got new plug wires, but it doesn't have new plugs. I put a new rotor cap. I put a distributor cap, new plugs, and or new wires, plug wires. I hadn't put new spark plugs in it yet. And also changed the temperature sensor there. It's got a brand new catalytic converter on it. I didn't replace that. It's got new exhaust on it. Like I said, the check engine light comes on and it says vacuum leak. And I've went through here and I sprayed carburetor cleaner on all of the lines, the vacuum lines, to see if it would speed up and to see if I had a leak. And sometimes these things leak. Sometimes they suck air around the base plate of the TBI. So I sprayed carburetor cleaner at the base plate to see if it would idle up, and it didn't idle up. So that tells me that it wasn't sucking air. You see how it just idled up on its own? And I know it needs new valve cover gaskets, little odd and end things. But like I said, back when I get done from the Peach Festival, taking the whole front end off the truck. Fenders, inner fenders, core support, radiator, all that stuff's coming off. Unbolting all this shit from the firewall, shaving the firewall over there, taking the heater AC box out, taking it, shaving the hose, and been painting the firewall, painting it all blue, painting all this blue, and then putting it back together, and then run the wires. I am putting the wires right back in the exact same place from factory, and so when you raise the hood, it'll look like it's still factory, but the firewall will be painted that pretty blue. You see, I just you can hear that fuel pump though, boy. That son of a gun's pumping. So that's that. The exhaust, I got to put another hanger on the exhaust. I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but you can hear it hitting the edge of the, it's rubbing, and every now and then you'll hear it go tunt, 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 tunt. So the fan should be coming on here directly. Yeah, so right here is the temperature gauge. So when the temperature gauge gets straight up and down, the fans come on. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit right here until the fans come on. I'm gonna show you that. All the air ride is finished. All of it works. So pick the front end up. Picked up. Yeah, the thermostat's opened. Thermostat open, the hose is hot. So the fan should be coming on here directly. Let's rub it. Let's run it up a little bit. Let's help it. There we go. It's moving. It's a moving. If y'all new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. There they go. Fans is on. Fans, come on. Look, fans is on. I told you. Look, like 87 says, know your car. Know your car. See, fans are on. See? Fans on. Fans on. Fan, look. Fans on. So all the fans are on. Well, you can see it. It blows. So fan 1, fan 2 come on, and the oil cooler's on. So all that's working. See, it's right there. It's right there in the middle. Right there in the middle, baby girl. Boys and girls. What are you doing? Ha, 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 ha. Chick, chick. Get on out of here. Well, I lied to you, boys and girls. It's 6 o'clock. It's 30 minutes ago. I think the wind blowed that way. All right, so that's where we're at. Been on here 30 minutes. Ha ha! So all that's good and go. Can't stick your hand down there. Yeah. There's the mechanical fan. And there was nothing wrong with it. I just don't like running them. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. Right there it is. I'll put that in storage. So we good to go on that. Ain't got no leaks. Everything's good to go. That fan right there, boy, she's a pumping. That's pretty warm right there. So all right, boys and girls, let's go back around here and I'll show you. If you knew, got that far, finish that up tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get all my tools and stuff up. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna turn the truck off, but I'm gonna let the fans keep running. I could put them on a timer, a delay where they would run. Y'all hear them, see? They pumping, boys. They pumping. Look. You know, and I still might do that when I put it back together. I mean, I can feel the heat on it right here. I still might do that when I put it back together. I might put the fans on a, what is it? It's called a capacitor. I think it's called a capacitor relay, I think. I know it's a capacitor. It might be called a capacitor relay, or it might be something. I have to look and see. But it's what it is it keeps enough residual voltage and you can get it where, you can have it where you can get them. I know you can get them because we use them at Petty's. You can get it where it runs for a minute, runs for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You know, it has different intervals. And I still might do that. I might get that and then get it and have it on a, so when the truck cuts off, the fans still run for like a minute after the truck cuts off. Is it really necessary? No. Is it cool? Hell yeah, it's cool. But truck has one battery right now. It has an excess power battery, which is a 4,000 watt battery. And it's mounted to the frame rail, which is right there. It's right there. It's mounted up tight. And I'm thinking about when I do the bed floor, I'm thinking about redesigning, because this ain't bolted down, it's just sitting here. The sun has bleached this shit, man. So this is just, all this is gonna be tucked out, and it's gonna be metal. This, like I said, this is just sitting here. What I'm thinking about doing is getting two more big batteries and putting one on this side and one on that side, because I'm gonna have more voltage for the stereo system. And also I have that bracket that runs 3 alternators. So once everything gets put back together, this alternator will come off, and there's a bracket that goes on here, and it'll be 3 400 amp alternators on here. And one alternator will run the truck, one alternator will run the air ride, and one alternator will run the stereo system. So that's where we at on that. So, well, I mean, I appreciate it, Bush. It's okay, you know. But like I said, boys and girls, well, I think the first one was a warning. The second one, not so much. It's getting dark that way. So, I've been on here for 30-some minutes. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button. We hit 4,100 subscribers on here. I hit 15,000 subscribers, 14,900 or something on Facebook. So we're almost up to 15,000 on Facebook, and we hit 4,100 on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the notification bell. The temperature has dropped tremendously. So by 6:30, it's going to be raining. The wind has changed directions again, and you can see it's dark all back to the south of me, and it's coming this way, and the wind has shifted. You can see the treetops, they're blowing. Now the wind's blowing in my face, and it was blowing to my back. So it is about to get there. Yeah, TJ, I appreciate it, buddy. Remember I said, boys and girls, it takes a village. Without you guys, it wouldn't be me, and I greatly appreciate it. So let me get all my stuff out of the dry. Let me get the dog food in, or feed the dogs, fill up their bin, fix the chickens, move that other thing in there, get everything that's in the dry, out in the weather, in the dry, and go ahead and put the bumper back on, and the grill and all that stuff back on, and go from there. And and one more thing. Y'all, I'm going to give y'all a secret. Y'all want to see the secret? You want me to show you what I used to get the color for my son's truck? Y'all want me to show you? You want me to show you where I got the idea? Hey, let's find something or make something that color. Y'all want to see it? This is where I got it. Y'all ready? Bam. Adams. Look. Adams Car Wash. Adams Car Wash. I seen that, and I said, that's the color I want to make. So, now I know this is like super translucent, but if you look into the boo, so if y'all want to know where I pull shit out of, that's where I get it. I seen that, and I said, me likey. It came, hey. A broken clock is where I write twice. Hey, look here, boys and girls. Let me show you this. Y'all look. Y'all look through the tree line. Look. Y'all look. I'm still talking. Look. All right, now you know it's fixing to get nasty. Y'all know it's about to get nasty. The wind stopped blowing. The wind stopped blowing. The trees ain't doing this no more. They're not saying. They're not doing it. The air has stopped. It's about to get nuggly. About to get nuggly. All right, boys and girls. Yeah, it's moving fast. It's moving fast like I was the other night making buttermilk. I was churning that buttermilk, boy. I was trying to get that buttermilk biscuits. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it's darker. Yeah, it's dark back that way. All right, boys and girls. I got to go. I appreciate you, boys and girls. Remember I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Look, I told you. Look at the damn skyline. Stop texting, Jay. You got to get busy. I got to go, boys and girls. I appreciate you. Remember I said, hit that subscribe button. Don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep up your own porch. Sweep off your own porch before you sweep it off anybody else's. But God first, let loose and drag. Peace.